What is kind of your step-by-step framework you tell people to go through?
Yeah. So our step-by-step process and framework first starts with your foundation. Like we were just talking about, you can't make something successful on Facebook ads if you don't have that foundation. So the three components of that foundation are your ideal customer, which we talked about. Then it's your strategy. So you can't just go throw up a Facebook ad if you don't have a marketing strategy created, which means how are you, I like to think of it as a journey. How are you taking somebody who has no idea who you are and going to either show them content or take them to strategic pages, emails, all of that has to be in place before you're ready for ads. And so what does that strategy piece look like, and making sure that is in place? And then the third piece of your foundation is mapping out your budget, which a lot of people don't do. They just start ads and they're like, I'll just see if it works. And yes, you have to test things. But what I recommend is saying, okay, if I want to make this much money, how much do I have to spend? And trying to work backwards to say, how many leads do I need to get? And even if you're guessing, but at least you have a benchmark so that when you go to start spending your money on ads, you can come back and see where you actually fell. And we have to measure those things to be able to measure our success and move from there. So that foundation. And then from there, you take that strategy and you plan out the ads that would make sense to run to that strategy. There's usually 3 phases. It depends. I don't know if e-commerce businesses will be listening. They're a little bit more, not as many phases because it's straight to the product. But usually you'll have brand awareness and visibility, which is one of the steps in our process. So you're actually spending about 5% of your ad spend budget every month to content. So if you have a podcast, if you have a video, and you're trying to build those audiences of people, and the reason you spend money on it is if you've ever tried building organically, like you get barely any reach. It's very slow. So if you can spend money on your content, you'll be able to just increase the number of people seeing that very valuable content, building those touch points. And then you can take those audiences
directly on Facebook, or even like moving them over to like a blog post or whatever.
As long as you can track it. So a blog post is fine because you can put the Facebook pixel. Podcast, I'd go to the podcast page on your website so you can put the pixel. Video, I do straight on Facebook. So as long as you can actually create an audience of those people is the goal. So that's one phase. And anybody can start with that. If you know your ideal customer, but you don't have your funnel built yet, well, you can start running a very small ad spend to your podcast or videos to just start getting people seeing your content, start building that, which is so much faster.
5%-ish you usually recommend to use for that, right?
Yeah, 5% of your monthly budget. So not a lot, but just enough to get new people seeing that content.
Cool.
Yeah. Okay. And then from there, the bulk of your strategy, if you're in a digital marketing business, is lead generation. You need to get email leads, whether that's through a webinar, a lead magnet, video series, summit, whatever it is. You need to get them in, that's the first step of your funnel. If you're e-commerce, you're going to go straight to like a core product. That will be your first step. And you might do a little lead gen, but really you want to just get people to a clear product. And then, that's probably 80 to 90% of your budget is that whatever is the top of your funnel, whatever is that first step for people to go through. And there you're testing different audiences, different messaging. And I mean, that's the core of your strategy. That's where you're going to put the most amount of your effort. And then another like 5 to 10% of your budget would go to retargeting. So now that you have people coming to your webinar or signing up for your lead magnet, or if you're e-commerce landing on your sales page, now you have people who have taken action, but they haven't finished the action you want them to take, which is become a customer. And so we can create ads directly for those people to say, hey, come back and buy this.
You forgot something. Right.
Yeah, exactly. So you're really creating a customer journey. And then any place you want someone to take action, you can pair an ad and create that strategic ad.
So good. And the people that you are targeting with the main part of the budget are not only the people that, of course, probably the people that also were in the first phase you were mentioning. So you, of course, use those warmer audience, but you're probably not only targeting these people.
You definitely want to open it to
how do you kind of like mix and match those two together?
Yeah. I mean, it depends how much you're spending to know how big your audience is for warm traffic, but you will have a much smaller, what we call warm traffic is those people. And then cold traffic would be new people, but you're probably at 80% of your budget's cold traffic and 20% maybe is warm traffic.
Mm-hmm.
It depends on, again, how big the audience size is. Some people have massive email lists and they can leverage that, and some don't.
Right.
So that's going to be a big factor, but you definitely want to target new people into that lead generation strategy, because if that's set up right, that will nurture them too to become a buyer.
Yes. Okay. Very good. Now, I know that you have thousands of not thousands, but hundreds of options when you're setting up ads, like what type of conversion, then what type of ads, where they're placed, and all those different opportunities out there. What is like specifically for starting out, what is like the easiest entry point, the easiest first types of ad creation, ad placement that somebody should kind of rely on before maybe trying out all the other stuff? Or what is like your suggestion doing all that?
Yeah. Well, the easiest would be the brand awareness, because you're just taking content and turning that into an ad.
Yes.
A lot of people will ask, should I boost my post or should I create the ad?
Right.
My recommendation is that you created an ads manager. The reason is that if you boost a post, what happens is the objective is engagement. So even if it's a video or you want someone to go to a web page, Facebook's optimizing your ad for engagement. So it's kind of a disconnect, because if it's a video, you want people to watch the video, which there's a specific objective for that. You're also limited
that would
to basically
not be possible with boosting.
It would not be possible to take a video, and the objective would be engagement. So it wouldn't be possible to make the objective video views.
Yes.
Or
Okay.
through play.
Right.
Yeah. And then the other thing with boosting is you're limited to basically what you call ad set, which is an audience option. Whereas if you go create a campaign in your ads manager, you can have like 3 or 4 different ones that you test.
Yes.
So that's the easiest way to start. Now, some other just things to keep in mind and that help beginners is 2 things. One, Facebook doesn't want you to have all the control, like the way they've been going the last 2 years. They have very many things: automatic placement, dynamic creative are options you'll see in Facebook, where basically Facebook decides where the budget goes. Facebook optimizes your ads. And we have seen, for the most part, that actually works better. So sometimes people in theory have like, okay, I have an audience and it has like 7 and factors and it's limited. It is going to be my perfect audience. And in theory, it sounds great, but then it doesn't actually work. It just, I can't explain it. It's the Facebook algorithm. And so right now, currently, we see automatic placement, dynamic creative, which are 2 things that allow Facebook to choose how to optimize, and it allows Facebook's algorithms to do the work, tend to work better. So if you're given that option, try there, and you can always test both for yourself. So the other thing to just keep in mind with Facebook,
like very loose settings, like pretty much place it wherever you think it makes sense.
We choose automatic placement, which means Facebook is choosing the placement, and they will choose a lot of times, like the news feed is obviously a big one. So people get scared, like, I don't want to show my ad on Audience Network, the games. Well, they probably won't. They probably won't even spend it when you actually go look at the breakdown, because if it's not working, Facebook's not going to put the money there. So, but they will optimize your ads better when you give them the control, is what we have seen. And then the other piece I tell people, especially beginners, is try to always align yourself with the goal that Facebook has and the goal of your ad. So they have objectives that are pretty clear. Like, I want a conversion. Okay, choose the conversion objective. I want someone to watch my video view. I think it's right now through play. Like you want people to watch, through play. They define, I think it's like 10-second views or something. If you want someone to go to a landing page, it's a landing page view. So you don't have to overcomplicate. Like they try to make it easy. And so if you align yourself with the goal, like if your ad goal matches the goal of what you want,
you also want, right?
That is the best way to optimize it.
Yes. Okay. And of course, depending on what the ad goal is, then of course just decide what makes more sense. Like have a picture, have a video, have in the beginning you said you can even do reels now, or what are the like?
I would test both. I tell everybody always asks me, do pictures or videos work better? And I'm like, both. You got to do both. So I would for sure in every campaign have a couple different images, have a video, And yes, you can do reels. You just upload them as a video though. So like you create it on Instagram, download the video and upload it as your ad. We've seen those do incredible, like for webinar registration, for everything. It's kind of crazy. But if you think about the goal of the platform, what is it? They want to outperform TikTok. So they're putting emphasis on those that type of creative and kind of rewarding you as an advertiser for aligning with their goals as a platform.
Okay, that's a nice hack to leverage as long as it lasts, right? Cool.
Right.
Very good. What would you recommend concerning budgeting, like starting out, scaling? I heard a lot of people like scaling too fast gets Facebook nervous. I don't know. What is your recommendation for starting out and scaling with the ad budget?
Yeah. So I think a good minimum budget, in my opinion, is about $1,000, $500 to $1,000 a month. Anything lower than that, it's really hard to get traction. I would say like just wait until you have some more money to put into it. So that's a good minimum to get enough people through your funnel. And then as far as scaling, there's really two main times where I'd say increase your budget. One, obviously, if your funnel is profitable, you should increase your budget because then you can make more money. And it varies. Like if you're spending $1,000 in 1 month, you can spend $3,000 the next month easily. And that's like 3Xing your budget. But if you're spending $50,000, you're not going to probably be able to spend $150,000 the next month. So you can scale within how much audience ability you have and how much you're already maximizing. We usually say like between 10 to 20% a week you can scale. And then if it gets really expensive, you might want to stop and let it settle. So it's kind of knowing how to optimize it. But the other piece that not a lot of people talk about is I think people they start with like 500 to 1,000. And then they're like, well, I can only scale 10%. So they increase it $100. And you sometimes also want to make the decision, this is profitable, or I need to get more leads and increase your budget significantly if you're at that stage and you have that money to invest, because what it will do is just speed up the testing, speed up the number of leads coming into your funnel. And so there's sometimes a chance to make the decision to increase your budget just because you want less time. You don't want to spend 3 months testing this funnel. You want to get in hundreds of leads and see how it's working. And that you need to see that as an investment when that happens, an investment in that ad spend to get those leads. But you don't have to hold back scaling when you're at that low budget. You can choose to increase it just to kind of speed up your process a little bit.
Very good. So good. We talked a lot about leads. Have you seen success using the inbuilt like lead forms, like having people like, what the
they're called lead forms.
But there's like, you can have like leads. And I've seen a lot of people like forums, like asking like, should we use this? Is this better? I don't know. So what have your results or experience been with that?
Yeah, for the most part, I have not seen good success. For some reason, they just attract a low quality lead. I have yet to seen it be successful. And it's interesting because Facebook definitely wants their users to stay on their platform.
Right.
But it brings in just a low quality. Maybe it's who they optimize the ads to. I'm not sure, but I definitely see more success going to a landing page, which also then you can give more information, more context, and connection to the audience. So we don't really ever use lead forms.
Got it. Okay. Very good. Is there any other part, like in this strategy, we talked about foundation, how to kind of split up the audience with the first, like more to your content, then getting new leads and remarketing or retargeting. Is there any other like element in this strategy that would be important to share, to kind of like a piece I maybe did not ask yet?
Yeah. So the last part of this strategy we call scale and optimize, which we talked a little bit about scaling, but overall, seeing your goal with Facebook ads is you go out, you spend the money on your strategic ads and the layers, and then you really have to take that and say, okay, here's the actual results I got. here's the goals that I set for myself and where did I fall?
Mm-hmm.
And then what's my next step? Like,
Yes.
Am I too high cost per lead? Okay, there's action items I can take to improve that. Am I not hitting my sales conversion goal? There's action items I can take. And so when you break marketing down into a process of just testing, refining, and then repeating and doing it again, it becomes like anyone can do it. And that is what I truly believe. Like, successful marketing, in my opinion, is a process where if you follow that process and you stick to it and you invest in it and you stay focused on your strategy and improving your messaging and your strategy and your numbers, anyone can achieve success. And so that once you start running the ads, it's important that you don't say, oh, it's not working, I'm gonna shut everything off, like change my whole funnel. Facebook ads just don't work for me. Like, I see that so much. And the answer is in the numbers. The answer is usually comes down to improving your messaging, improving your strategy, and paying attention to those numbers.
So good. So good. Wow. Yeah. Very, very good. And for people that would start following like these steps or these recommendations, is it like a typical, like most happened failure, not failures, mistakes, let's call it like that way? Like what's the most common mistake you see people when they're starting out that they should try to avoid right away?